Hi, everybody. Welcome back to another pod smash between the Living on the Verge podcast and the Jenn Baker podcast. Today, we're talking health and wellness, catching up on my program, and giving you Real Housewives of Orange County finale tea. So let's get into the health and wellness portion of our show today. And I want to talk about the fact that I got my email with my plan and all of my directions, including all of the program requirements and lots of information, and I really like it. Jenn, tell them something about the program requirements.
The program requirements, which goes over seed oils and other things that can throw your diet off track or mess with your sleep.
Now, with regards to seed oils, yeah, I basically don't eat anything anymore because everything has this shit in it.
Everything, girl,
I
everything.
threw peanuts away the other day, $7 peanuts from Barron's, because the first thing after the peanuts was canola oil. And
Why?
when you
Why?
said that
Why?
on the podcast, I was like, no, that's not true. And
Yeah.
you kind of already know all of the things that I'm doing with regards to we've moved over to the really good quality meat company.
Which I just saw a thing on
Sponsor
the
us.
news last night that said meat from the grocery store increases your risk of a UTI because it's dirty.
Oh my gosh. I have a girlfriend who has been struggling with the UTI for 4 weeks now. And she says they told her, get off of the sugar, get off, increase your water. She's done all of that. She's convinced they gave her the wrong medication. She's still struggling with it. 4 weeks for a UTI.
That's crazy.
I'm going to tell her. I'm going to tell her.
Yeah, yeah. It
Um,
was on the news and we were out watching it while we were eating. And I'm like, that meat is raised in such a it's horrible conditions for the animals, and they feed them the wrong things. And there's E. coli, and it's just a risky thing to buy your meat from the grocery store anymore. It's sad.
It is very sad. And I was listening to one of your earlier podcasts when you were talking about like how you lost all your weight on meat that wasn't the healthiest
Right,
or whatever. And so one of the things that I think is really important for our audience to know is be where you are. The
right,
one
right.
thing that I've noticed that has been very eye-opening to me is how expensive it is to buy healthy food. And when you have 3 kids at home that you're trying to get through soccer or baseball or whatever, you can't always afford to spend $65 on protein powder, you know?
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
so I think that it's important, and maybe you could speak to this for a couple of seconds, but what do you do if you're not at the point where you can afford it? Like, what battles do you choose?
Right. So you give your kids the grocery store chicken thighs over chicken nuggets. Do you know what I'm saying? Like you get the organic pasta over the Kraft macaroni and cheese, and you throw in your own cheese, and maybe it's grated cheese, which I recommend don't buy grated cheese because it has a little bit more chemicals in it, but it's much better than like the powder that's in the Kraft macaroni and cheese. So things
Correct.
might take an extra 4 or 5 minutes to make, and maybe it costs a little bit more, but that's how you do it more on the cheap, you know?
Right. So I think we're both kind of the same mindset that you can still eat like a whole food, knowing it's not, grass fed, grass finished or whatever,
Yeah.
but that's where we're getting to. We're no longer eating the processed, God knows what's in it, chicken nugget. We're eating a thigh that may or may not have, some hormones in it, but it's better
But
than,
it's better than the chicken nugget.
yeah, it's better than
We're
the
leveling
alternative.
up a little. Yes, the chicken that we're buying at the grocery store is on the news now saying that it's not good for you, but it's still better than the chicken nugget.
Got it. Being a foodie, how can I take this menu that is all really good stuff that I'm already eating, essentially, and make it feel like I'm making meals at a restaurant? Because that's what makes me happy. And so I started thinking about it. And for example, um, we have chicken night, and chicken night is with a bunch of veggies, right? So for me, in order to make that really exciting, then I'm going to call it like a chicken saute with peanut sauce or whatever the heck. And as long as I'm making my own, smashed peanuts and there's not anything added to it and all of those things, then I still feel pretty good about it. But I feel like I'm still eating really healthy food that also makes me happy, right? So I think there's a way to incorporate the foodie in me into this plan, right?
There absolutely is. So if you look at your whole day, you usually there's some nuts in there that you can have or something that's in between meals as a snack. If
Hmm.
you want to take your nut serving and throw that into your dinner and chop up some almonds and toss that in with your spinach or with whatever the meat or the vegetables that you're doing, go ahead and do that. You don't have to have you don't have to have your snack at 10 o'clock, your breakfast at 8 o'clock. And if you want to pull things from your other meals, to make one good big dinner, go ahead and do that. Feel free to add spices, turmeric, whatever, paprika, um, anything like that. Go ahead and add all that. If you want to take the cream out of your coffee, maybe, and throw the cream into your sauteed vegetables to make it a little creamier, do that. If you want to pull the cheese out of something and use that at dinner, cottage cheese is actually a great thing to throw in with spinach. I used to throw a couple of spoonfuls of cottage cheese into my sauteed spinach and it melts and it tastes
Hmm.
really good. It makes it like a creamy spinach.
Right. Well, that's what they use in lasagna anyway, right?
Yeah,
Sometimes
the
they use
ricotta.
cottage cheese and pesto
Yeah.
ricotta. Yeah. Part of my joy of eating comes from my joy of cooking,
Yes.
right?
Right.
Oftentimes people are I know that in order to really kind of gain a healthy awareness of food, you kind of need to look to food as fuel more than as happiness. But for me, it is my happiness. So I
Yeah.
don't want to take that away from it. With regards to the strictness of this program, correct me if I'm wrong, but this is looking more like let's start you off with a detox and then we'll
Yeah.
start. Okay. Now, may I ask the reason for this? Is it to figure out maybe what things are causing me issues as we reintroduce things?
That's part of it. And also, it's like a kickstart. So it gets you going, it gets you motivated. After 7 to 10 days, you see like all these changes physically, and your brain fog is gone, your aches and pains are gone. You're feeling like you're going, like, oh, great, I've lost 7 pounds in the last 7 to 10 days. I'm feeling really good. The effort is there. That's when you're strongest. At that point, after 7 to 10 days of you doing, it's basically a detox, but you're not going to be hungry, but you are detoxing all the toxins and everything from your body, the inflammation, all of that's going to go. And then I can start giving you recipes.
So essentially, what I am starting with is what somebody who would be taking like your 10-day program would be
Pretty
doing,
much,
right?
yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, good.
A lot of times when you get all those toxins out of your body, even when you reintroduce them, they don't taste the same as they
Mm-mm.
used to.
Leaves a
It's
weird
like, this
film
isn't
in your
even worth it.
mouth.
Yeah.
Yeah, just not fun. So, okay, well, I'm really excited about doing this. I'm happy to report I already have almost everything on the grocery list
Okay, good.
here. I will tell you and our audience, realistically, I'm probably not going to start this week.
Okay.
I am going to continue doing what I'm doing as far as I'm already logging my meals. I'm already putting collagen and creatine in my coffee in the morning. My hope is to get to a point where I don't have a million things going on and I can just focus on following this.
Okay,
Um,
that sounds good.
I love real whole natural food anyway and making it my own. I like the notion of like you take a chicken breast, I'll take a chicken breast and let's see what we can do with it.
Yeah.
Really makes me happy. So I think that's going to be the fun part of this. And we've already discussed the exercise part of this. I'm already drinking plenty of water and
Good.
just for all of y'all out there, Jen recommends drinking half of your body weight in ounces of water per day.
Yes.
And when I told my husband that, he almost fell off of the seat. He's like, "What do you mean that's a lot of water?" And I said, "Yeah, it's supposed to be." Um, I tell you, the second that you really start doing these things, you do notice different changes,
Yes.
positive changes. And for me, my good habits build upon good habits, so it gets me more motivated. And I want to maintain the momentum. So I'm really excited to do this, and I will report back to you and to the group. I have taken my before picture as you asked. And
Okay,
even
great.
though I am not necessarily focused on the scale, um, I will be very happy to share my weight successes and milestones, I guess, as they come, because as we discussed, if you're going to be doing these things, it's naturally going to come off anyway. There's just,
Right. It's
yeah.
naturally going to come off. And this is how you're also going to know that it's working, right? Because you're going to see a reflection on the scale, and that just motivates you more. Even when you're not doing it primarily for weight loss and you're doing it primarily for health and to get rid of all the side effects that you're having from not eating well for a while, it is a bonus to shrink down a little bit and be able to wear different clothes that you felt like you might have been uncomfortable in previously.
Well, and everybody knows that one of the issues that I was really frustrated with was this, upper belly situation that I can't get rid of. So even though it's not a weight issue for me, it is still some sort of a body shape issue that exercise and healthy eating can only help, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
And so full disclosure to everybody out there, I am still drinking alcohol. If that changes, I will let you guys know so that at least you know that you're following along with my journey in all honesty. I'll get back to you guys and I'll let you know how I'm progressing and we'll just take it from there. Jenn, thank you so much.
You're very welcome. I'm excited for you and I'm excited to be here for your journey.
Thank you. Okay, Jenn, let's move on to the Real Housewives of Orange County and talk about the big finale.
Yeah.
I can't
Wow,
believe
that
it.
was a good one.
It was a really good one. Now, I think that I'm glad the season's over, and I heard that the reunion is going to have all kinds of interesting twists and turns. And if you kind of watch Instagram, which I have a tendency to kind of creep every now and then, you can see who's broken up of the Orange County girls. So you may or
Oh,
may not know that last year, right around this time, it was when it was airing last season, Emily was doing the podcast, stepping in for Tamara for her two teas in a pod. And now not only is she not doing that anymore, but she's left the entire network and has gone independent.
interesting.
I
Do you
didn't
think
know
it
that was
had
a thing.
anything to do with that at the restaurant, that dinner table discussion that where everything kind of fell apart?
I
Well, and then
think,
at the end too, they gave us that little tidbit at the very end after the show was over with like kind of a mini update about what the
right.
girls were talking about. Yeah. So that's what left me feeling like, uh-oh, Tamara's in some hot water and hopefully we'll find out at the reunion what that was all about.
Yeah, but I'm going to give you a challenge. Go back and listen to it and tell me if that's not Slade Smiley's voice.
Yeah, but it was distorted, right? So that's why I was like, who is this person?
I
Do
don't
you
know. I mean, I'm
yeah.
probably wrong. I'm probably wrong, and I'm probably just buying into the Kool-Aid speculation, but the fact that the person knew exactly what they had filmed and when they had filmed it, it had to have been somebody on the inside because what they were trying to do is take all of this information that they had and make it seem like they had gleaned it from Tamara. And
Yes, I see
I
what you're saying. They're trying to frame Tamara.
Uh-huh. And in real time, there's been all kinds of talk about the fact that Gretchen dropped like thousands of dollars supposedly to try to get her Instagram scrubbed to find out who did this. But isn't it interesting if she did spend all of this money? She puts like the opening of an envelope on Instagram. If she had findings, don't you think we'd know about them?
Yeah. Oh, she would love to share those, right?
Mhm. So
She would
either it's being held away from us for the reunion, and she's like sworn to secrecy or something,
yeah.
or I'm completely wrong and it's something totally different, and receipts will prove it at the reunion, or I'm onto something and they're just continuing their mission to destroy Tamara. I mean, look, let's go back for the audience and talk a little bit about what happened. So, for those of you guys who may or may not really know, there's was a conversation before the dinner when the girls decided that they were going to wait until the morning because they were going to get on the plane and then they wouldn't have to have a big O fight. But of course, Gina was somewhat baited by Tamara to bring it up. And so at dinner, she brought up the fact that there have been some disparaging and I guess homophobic comments made on Instagram that Gretchen either liked or followed in these
Mhm.
accounts. So she brings it up, Gina does, and she wants to confront Gretchen about it. And I kind of was struck by her lack of reaction because if you showed me that and I didn't do it, I'd have jumped across the table at you.
Same, same. She had no reaction at all. I was really surprised by that because I'm the same as you. If someone was accusing me of something that was hurting my character and making me look out to be something that I'm not, I would have lost my mind.
And the thing is, she has so much reason to protest because she spends a lot of time with people from the LGBTQ community, and she professes to be such a proponent. So if you were changing that, especially, and I hate to say it, but if Heather's across the table from me, I
Mhm.
would definitely be saying, "Oh, hell no, I didn't say that," and show me the proof. Now, I think it's really interesting that before all of this aired, her Instagram was cleared and unfollowed by a bunch of accounts. So maybe this happened leading up to it. But I heard a funny take this morning and it kind of made me take a step back because before this morning, I was like, you know what? As much as you can and for whatever purposes you want to say what you want to say, at the end of the day, you're wrong. You shouldn't have been on these accounts. You shouldn't be liking any of those things. There's just no absolute no excuse. But then I heard from a podcaster, and he was saying, I used to have like OnlyFans quality postings on my Instagram because I was single. I had all kinds of thirst trap photos and all kinds of me at the club. And he's like, now I'm a dad. Now all you see is pictures of me and my kids. So if somebody has followed me for 5 years, they're wondering what happened. So who's to say that she didn't follow someone 10 years ago and they've since become radicalized? And who knows, right? Could be.
And that she's not looking at the post, she's just liking it.
Or she was just following these people and somebody was looking to make her look bad because everybody went back to their room and tried to find that post on Instagram and nobody could find him. So one of two things happened. She and Slade sat down and cleaned up her Instagram before all of this hit the fan, or somebody doctored it. And that's why there's only screenshots because if it was still there, why wouldn't we have it?
And the first thing I thought about was, did somebody create an account? Now, that's probably really like not very smart of me to think that because I don't know if people can get away with that, but couldn't you create an account under her name and pretend to be her
You used to be able
and
to.
then
Now
start
we got to
liking stuff?
upload our photos, but I don't know, maybe back then, because I saw this in real time. I remember hearing and
Yeah, you've been
seeing these.
following. Yeah.
And so I don't know if I don't, it doesn't jive. And at the end of the day, what bothers me is that she didn't protest enough. She had to go back and call Slade. And then Slade happened to have a perfect response for her. You tell that bitch, blah, blah, blah. Like, first of all, Slade, go get a job. Second of
Mhm.
all, I don't understand why it's okay for this husband to call one of the castmates a bitch and it's just okay. I know that if, your fiance called me a bitch, you should be mad at him, period, because
Right.
it's not a nice way to
Yep.
talk to a lady. Um, and
No.
I get that these two hate each other and all bets are off, but I think he just made a mess out of things and he kind of is leading her. So I really, truly, firmly believe that he is at the nucleus of this whole drama.
Really? So you think that it's his voice that's being distorted, talking about that Tamara was calling in and letting them know all of the gossip and stuff that was going on behind the scenes before the episodes were released.
Well, here's what I do know, and I'd love to take credit for this revelation, but I can't. I heard it somewhere, and I'd love to remember who so I could give them credit, but I can't, so sorry. But what I heard was production knows who it is because they couldn't have aired that without a signed release,
Oh, okay.
even though it's
Even though the
distorted.
voice, yeah.
Yeah. So that to me is a ploy. And I have a feeling that we're going to uncover everything at the reunion. So I'm actually excited for the reunion. I hope it doesn't drag on. What do you think? It's going to be 3 parts.
They're not going to expose it till part 3, I bet. That's what I
Probably.
think.
That's what they always do. Well,
Yeah, they want you to watch all parts, right? So they
mhm.
save the best for last.
And you know what? We could talk a little bit about Heather and her farewell to her father. What did you think of that?
I thought that was very sweet, and I thought it was nice to know something so personal about Heather, and her relationship with her dad, because I think a lot of times people look at people like Heather or people that you think they have everything, but
Hmm.
there's always things that have happened to people in their past that make them just like you and me
Yep.
who don't have, $50 billion to run around the world with. But so it just made her more relatable to me to see that, she really has some sadness there about the relationship that she had with her dad or did not have with her dad, but how she was trying to let that go.
Yeah, and I thought it was kind of a nice evolution because the first, I think, one, two, maybe three, the prior three episodes, she kept alluding and talking about things with her dad, but she just kind of couldn't get it out. And going back to that lunch with Tamara, if you might remember, she brought it up back then. And then Tamara just kind of went on and made things about herself, and we never addressed it. But it was nice to see it kind of have a beginning, a middle, and an end, and her, come to a moment of peace. I did think it was kind of funny when Emily scooted away.
Yeah.
That was kind of funny. But it was a very touching moment, and I was glad that she had that moment to show us a different side. I agree with you. I think it softens Heather for the masses.
Yeah. I thought it was good. And I also like the part where she said that she's sometimes very envious of the relationship that her kids have with her husband, with their dad, and how it's so wonderful. And it makes her feel like she missed out on something.
Yeah, but it begs the question, if she hadn't, would she have sought a man who was going to? You know what I mean? When you don't have something that you really want, you kind of spend your life making sure that you're going to get that, or you do the opposite, you get that exact same thing, right? It looks like she
Exactly.
was pretty purposeful in making sure that Terry Dubrow was a complete departure from her dad.
Yeah. He
And
seems like a really good dad.
yeah, and she got that. Yeah, even now I listen to their podcast and they're just funny and they're all about their kids. They were just gone to New York and they were hanging out with them and they talk about, oh, and we had dinner and oh, and we did this and I just thought, that's so cool because it says something about you as a parent when your adult children still want to hang out with you.
Yes, it does. And I can relate with that. Not that I'm saying anything great about me, but my favorite times of the month or the years are when all the kids come over and they hang
Hmm.
out and we do things together. Or when I go to lunch with the girls and, they take me for a massage for my birthday or whatever. Those are like the highlights for me.
Oh yeah, they're precious moments that you can't pay for. It doesn't matter. There's just no way in the world that you could get that. And for me, family is everything. So I think it's really cool that they've highlighted that. And then speaking of family, it kind of leads to a really good segue, and we could talk about Emily and Shane and where they've kind of landed this season. Um, what are your thoughts about the conversation that Emily had with Shane? When they
Um,
were traveling and he just kind of, I guess he told her that he blew a fuse because he couldn't
yeah.
handle how Luke was behaving.
So I've dealt for many years in my other job with families of kids with disabilities like autism, et cetera. It puts a huge strain on a marriage, and a lot of marriages they don't last just because of that piece. It's very, very stressful. So I commend her for I didn't see her overreact to Shane. And I also feel that Shane is learning. To me, it seems like Shane, if he didn't regret it, I don't think he would have told Emily about it. But I feel like he called her as soon as he felt ready and shared the information with her and how he made a mistake and he felt bad about it. And that's the first time that I've seen Shane kind of do that, because before he's always said like he needs more discipline, he needs a stricter boundaries,
Right.
that's how he's going to learn. But I think he's softening up and realizing that he's not going to be able to fix it in the way that maybe he was raised, because when you have a child with autism it's just a whole different ball game of how
Right.
you
It's a
how you
different
live
approach.
live
Yeah.
at home with them. Yeah.
And the thing is, I mean, it plays with Shane's character, and just like I've met him a few times and I've talked to him, and that's just the way he is. He's just really like everything's gonna be fine, that's just his thing. So
Yeah, yeah,
part of it is through the course of the season, they've been educated on how to deal
yeah,
with this, and I think that it has helped them. It it really shows me that they're a really strong couple because she's not afraid to say, like, listen, we're struggling right now dealing with this. And usually couples who are struggling and who are falling apart are the last ones who are going to tell you they're struggling and falling apart. And
right.
as much as I have kind of my poor Emily, she's had a rough season with regards to me lately. But as much as I have given her a hard time this season, I'm really proud of how she came out from this. And I'm really glad because she talked about it for a little while about wanting to, considering quitting. And I'm really glad that she didn't because she took a lot of flack for doing this, but um, she also exposed something really important to a lot of
Yeah.
people that wouldn't have otherwise gotten it? Let's wrap it up. Okay, first of all, I thought it was really weird when they did the little like I can't remember what they're called. The term for it is escaping me, but when they do like, Emily's doing this and so and
Yeah,
so at
yeah,
the end
yeah.
of the
At the
season.
very end, or
Yeah.
it wasn't quite at the end. This time it
Yeah.
was like three-quarters of the way through.
Right. And that's what was weird to me because I knew
Yeah.
there was still stuff that was supposed to happen. So,
Same. I looked at the clock. I'm like, wait, there's still
uh,
15 more minutes. Why are they doing this now?
exactly. And as far as I could tell, it seemed to me like um cameras got picked back up. Like it leaked that somebody had gotten these texts and this voicemail and whatever, and then they picked cameras back up because it said like, did it say 3 weeks later or I can't
Yeah,
remember.
3 weeks
It
later.
was 3 weeks later, right? Yeah. And so I'm calling bullshit on that whole thing. But there's got to be a little bit of truth to it, Jen, because a lot of people are still kind of put off by Tamara. And oh, by the way, as an example, it's actually tomorrow. And if I'd had a little bit more notice, I'd be going. I may still go. I don't know. But tomorrow, they announced that Tamara and Katie are having a watch party at a restaurant in Orange County to watch the part
Interesting.
one of the reunion. And
Interesting.
nobody else is going.
That is very interesting that she's now siding with Katie more. I mean, I know they did get together at one point to talk about Gretchen, which is Tamara's favorite thing, but I don't know. I don't know what to say about Tamara. She always seems to me like she apologizes. She's given a million apologies over though I've watched her from season one. So she always does something and apologizes, but apologies means changing your behavior.
That's
And
right.
she never changes her behavior.
Yeah.
It's the same thing you can expect from her. And yes, when the castmate said, who are you most afraid of? And her people that she thought were her best friends said, well, we're most afraid of Tamara. Like, we don't want to tell her our deep secrets because she will hold them and use them against us later.
Yeah, that's true. It is true. It does say a lot about her, that everybody feels the same way about her. And I'm a hot take girl because I like Tamara, and I know that's not a popular opinion. Um, I don't know that I agree with her tactics this season, and now more and more of what's coming out is making me question whether I have been bamboozled.
Sure.
But I do like her
Yeah.
because
Well,
the one thing I like about her is that she's not going to bullshit you. If you ask her something, she's going to really tell you the truth. What I don't like and what I didn't realize until like this morning when I had that aha moment was, oh, by the way, she will put it in her pocket and save it for whenever it's convenient. And that's scary. That's a scary trait in a
she'll,
friend.
yeah. And she'll give it
So
to someone else to expose on
yeah,
her
so it'll
behalf.
be interesting. I'm kind of curious to go tomorrow just to see who shows up and what's going on and maybe do a little live segment from there. I may go. We'll see. But did you hear
What, do you know where it is?
it's
The
somewhere in
restaurant that they're going
Orange,
to be
it's
at?
somewhere in Orange County.
Okay.
No kidding, duh. That was dumb and I said it out loud. Um the first one is going to be Katie and Tamara, but I have breaking news. The part 3 reunion will have a watch party in coordination and conjunction with the Innocence Center. And it is going to be on November 23rd at Five Vines Bar in San Juan Capistrano. And they will be selling tickets. Emily will be there, Gina will be there. And I believe the announcement comes out tomorrow. So you heard it here first.
Okay, that's a Sunday.
Uh-huh.
The
That's very
Sunday before
doable, Jen.
things.
Yeah. Mark it down, pencil it in Sharpie.
Sharpie, permanent.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that'll be really exciting. I'll be there. I missed it last year because I got sick, but um, I heard it was a really big success and it was a really good time. And I know that if Emily and Gina are going to be there, then that means Shannon will probably be there. And, depending on how things are going by part 3, I guess we'll see who else is there. Heather usually doesn't go to that kind of stuff, but we'll see,
Yeah.
you know.
It's
But
interesting that Tamara's doing her own thing.
well, that's the big aha moment I had this morning. I was like, wait a minute, this doesn't make sense because Tamara and Emily have always been really good friends. So if they're having separate events, what's going on?
Yeah.
We will be back next week to talk about part 1 of the reunion, and then we'll come back next week and also give you a little update on how I'm doing with my program. Is there anything that you want to talk about with regards to where we are with the program so far?
I'll just say I'm already proud of you because before I even gave you your menu, you started making your own changes and you've
Thank
been
you.
trying to increase your walking, which I know you were on doctor's orders to kind of settle down for a bit, but you're trying to get back into it and add some more time in. And so that's really good. I when I sent you the menu, you went over it. We're gonna see how Virginia does. She's already lost some weight. She had started losing weight before I even gave her my program, so good for her. And like she says, it's not only about weight loss, but that is the side effect if you follow this to get rid of your aches and pains, improve your sleep, and balance your hormones, you will naturally lose a few pounds and become healthier. So um,
Mhm.
I'm just looking forward to hearing about whether the brain fog goes away, the inflammation, and all those things. And it takes a few weeks to start noticing those things, but we will definitely keep everyone posted on your progress.
Yay, I'm really excited. And if I'm being honest, I do already feel better just by virtue of the fact that I'm moving more. I'm being very conscious about drinking all of my water. All of the things that you kind of just take for granted and you think, oh, that's okay. I don't have to drink the water today. But then you do that for 3, 4 days and you can't understand, why am I dragging? Why do I feel so heavy? The changes are noticeable from little things that we could do that aren't that difficult to change.
Yes. And I think if people realized how much better they would feel just being hydrated, they would do it right away. I have some clients that I've talked to that say, oh, I never drink water. I just don't drink water. And I'm like, what have you been drinking? I drink coffee or soda or juice. I don't drink water. And I just can't imagine that. And it takes them they just say, I don't like water. I don't like it. Can't put it in my mouth. It's just gross. So it's interesting when they do start taking the water, how much change they notice in their body. So if someone wants to start with one thing, it would be just drink all your water and after a few days, see how you feel because it's so necessary for everything.
I love it. I think that's a great tip for the day. And why don't we end this podcast by telling them our really great news about what we're doing together?
We are taking a little trip. We are going to this little event in this little city called Las Vegas. And our event is called BravoCon. So we're going to be heading out there together,
Whoop,
drive
whoop.
BravoCon.
It's going to
And
be
actually,
great.
Virginia, I've been thinking since you're driving, that's so much better because we're having all these issues with flights, anyways. It probably would have been delayed and we would have been late. So I'm super glad I'm not flying out to Vegas.
Yeah, me
Um,
too.
it's going to be fun driving, and we're going to be passing out lots of free stuff, doing some podcasts from the event, and sharing our photos and all that good stuff. So it's going to be fun.
Absolutely. We definitely are going to have some merch giveaway. We'll have stuff there from the Living on the Verge podcast and the Jenn Baker podcast. We will be looking for you guys and giving you an opportunity to enter for some live and on site giveaways. And we're definitely going to be podcasting live. So if you see us, come and talk to us, and you may or may not be able to get on the podcast. We'd love to hear who you've met that weekend and what you're excited about. I can't wait. We're going to have such a good time. You and I have already traveled together and we know we could have a good time together. So it's going to be really fun to do a lot of business and a little bit of
Yes.
fun.
Little shenanigans, but mostly we're working and not having any fun.
No, we're not having any fun at all. This is 100% a business trip. Absolutely. Oh gosh. Well, this has been fun. I'm sure we'll catch up real soon because we talk to each other almost every day anymore. And we will be back with another podcast soon. All right. So stay tuned, everybody. I'll let you know if I go. And if I do, you're going to hear everything all about it right
Yay.
here. Bye, Jen. Have a good one.
Bye.